I don't eat chicken salad.
You like football? I love football.
The shark dog on it.
Yeah!
52 for the win. It is just good.
So it's been an eventful week. Somebody the name Will Hanna hasn't paid anybody, and that could be a cause of why he's suing some certain group of people. Coaches. Ron Calcagney was announced. We'll dive into that. I posted that. I broke the news, and the league said no, and I was like, bro, come on. Nothing else too crazy. Coach in Alabama was finally announced. I mean, a lot of people throughout the league have known, but couldn't say anything because of some like media contract for minicamp. But that should be good out of the way. Not a lot else. I know a few players have gone a few places. Training camp is just around the corner, so we're gonna hop into that. But hey, sit back, relax, enjoy on Spotify, enjoy on YouTube. Rapid fire presented by nobody, but that is not the point right now. So we got some signings so we could talk about. Wide receiver Sal Cannella re-signs with the Arlington Renegades. Sal Cannella, of course, spent the last 2 seasons there before spending 1 season over in New Orleans inside the USFL, which is really in Birmingham. But Sal Cannella is brought back to Arlington and will look to continue some dominance. They also re-signed quarterback Gene Harris, a 2023 XFL All-Pro, or All-UFL really, but he was at All XFL honors. Rule changes have been announced inside the UFL. Interesting, the league will keep the same XFL style. Kickoff, coaches earn a second coaches challenge. Double forward passes behind the line of scrimmage are legal. Onside kicks are completely eliminated because really nobody's running them. And 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point conversions from the 2, from the 5, and from the 10 like normal. And it seems to be just not really a lot of innovation because they don't really need to do it. So interesting. The DC defenders signed cornerback Kelvin Joseph, not Carl. Carl Joseph plays for the Lions, what am I thinking? Chris Odom, after being released by the Houston Roughnecks, has now found himself on the Arlington Renegades roster. Maybe there might be some revenge and dominance to come and see the season. I like that signing a lot, especially because I think he's just a little bit too old to be playing. San Antonio Brahmas signed defensive end Lonnie Phelps. Pretty interesting one. Offensive tackle, offensive lineman in general. But offensive lineman Jeremy Flax signs with the Arlington Renegades. Flax played in Kentucky and spent time with the Minnesota Vikings over in training camp. And finally, Sean Mahone has announced his retirement, and but the UFL Championship game will be hosted in St. Louis for the 2nd consecutive year. We'll do it for rapid fire. If you like the music, I do that for the arena episode because I might not, but yeah, the rapid fire. The NAL announced a TV deal with Right Now TV, and I got people saying, well, and I'm not glad. I don't think anybody's gonna watch that, but hey, IFA is opening some doors, I guess, because more people are gonna tune in to watch the IFA than the NAL this year. But hey, the NAL's going forward. You know, the IFL needs a deal like this more than the AFL because more people are watching the IFL than the NAL. It's an interesting one though. But quarterback Will Ardent has been signed by the San Antonio Caballeros to their camp roster. Interesting one. I heard something about how he's going to be, the starting guy in Alabama, something like that, and then it just didn't fall through. And I'm just like, I'm a little curious about what's going there, but that's also not for me to talk because I don't know. I know that the Alabama Beavers announced 2 guys they signed. Quarterback Ivory Durham first player signed to the active roster for the Alabama. I mean, like, close enough. I mean, for the Alabama Beavers, although they're in Huntsville, not Birmingham, but the Alabama Beavers have announced, Tyler Kolka and quarterback Ivory Durham to their active rosters as they were probably competed out throughout training camp, and that's nice. What's the chances that at Huntsville we see Ivory Durham walk out and be the starting quarterback? That'd be nice to see, but I don't know. So that's going on across that landscape of the IFA. Beavers just had training camp as well, and they, signed 2 guys. Another landscape in Baltimore. Will Hanna has not paid anybody a single dollar. Now, I talked about how he's suing the International Football Alliance in the last episode. And there's a little bit more. I read a little more up on that, and I was like, yeah. I get it. Pay your people, bro. Shut up. Like, there's a reason why he got kicked out. They're not vetting your money, bro. Like, bro, shut up, bro. Like, pay your people first. Oh, we gave him 10K. Oh, we gave him 20. Bro, every team does that. Shut up and just pay your people already. Holy cow. I've done the reading, bro. Like, I've literally, like, I'd like, just pisses me off. It pisses me off. But they already got six. They already got their 6 teams and their 7 team, which Ron Calcani is supposed to be the coach of the Arkansas Storm. Arkansas Storm, of course, were announced as an expansion team. Something about them with the MLF was supposed to be like announced. Well, it was announced that they were gonna originally join the MLF, as I stated earlier, but they, backed out. Blah blah blah. Time passes. Ron Calcagni is the head coach. I posted, of course, and the league said no. We're not gonna stand for that. And I was like, bro, I don't understand. Ron Calcagni is the coach. Coach Shane Anderson, welcome to Alabama. You're supposed to be the head coach, right? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, there was some media deal with the Shane Anderson to be the Alabama Beavers head coach. Of course, management, and there's future opportunities from the IFA to be revealed to in the future. But for now, he's the head coach in the Alabama Beavers. Decent coaching history, of course. He's a coach of the players coach, very well liked. Very respectable guy. So good man for Alabama, perfect man for the coaching job in Alabama. And I'm very excited to see what he brings to the Beavers team. Of course, as I mentioned, a few guys, that they're bringing into camp or mini camp. Well, one guy they're bringing on to training camp, wide receiver Spencer Tears. Now, Spencer Tears is a dog. Spent 2 seasons with the Frisco Fighters, as I should have, mentioned first. But he also played in the spring league, recording 2 catches for 17 yards. Spent a couple seasons inside of Frisco, and was indeed just absolutely balled out. All IFL guy. And him coming into not Birmingham, well, soon enough, but him coming into Huntsville cements himself as a wide receiver 1. Now, if you'd missed the news, shoot me a follow IFA Newsroom. Boom, boom. We're on Instagram. We're on, we're right there. Just shoot a follow. Get the best news. News the league or teams won't even post themselves. Just toss a follow, man. Anyways, enough outside of that. We're on X, and we're on X and Threads right now. I'm trying to get established on Threads. But Spencer Tears brings that alpha 1. Of course, they brought in a couple other guys, but they need that experienced veteran. He's experienced veteran, spent the past 2 seasons inside of the IFL. There was speculation if he'd go to Tulsa with his whole team. He didn't. Now the case is, what happens next? Is he going to sign the active roster? May 31st, or are we going to see him up against Tampa Bay? I think so, yeah. Okay, one team that has been a little silent is Ohio Valley. Every other team has been active except for the Ohio Valley Ironmen, so maybe they're moving a lot behind the scenes, or maybe they're just quiet. I don't know. I know other guys, Asai Gandy. I'd mentioned this before, but I'll mention this again. Asai Gandy has signed with the Colorado Spartans and has also reported for training camp. Prince Chanel is also at training camp with the Wheeling Miners, and he's supposed to be with the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. So this is like a lot of landscape rolling around. And then former Beavers signee Joseph Hess is inside of Washington with the Wolfpack. And that Washington team looks so bad. Man. I was like, at first, I was like, oh yeah, I like to see what I'm going to see here. And now I'm like, bro, I don't want to see anything out of the team because this team does not look good, but that's just me talking. So now we got a few names coming into training camp for the UFL. Training camp begins in a couple of days. Players reporting, practices going on, player cuts, competitions, normal football stuff. Now, there's a few names that I feel like we got to talk about who's probably going to make some impact. Of course, I mentioned how Kelvin Joseph signed with DC Defenders. He could be a defensive starter come week 1. Are we going to see some Tiamu competition? Tiamu hasn't been great his past 2 seasons. You can say what you want. Oh, winning record, championship this, championship that. Tiamu has not been great. He's not played great. The past 2 seasons, his best football he played was over in Tampa Bay with the USFL. Well, really, he was in Birmingham. like all 8 teams were. Anyways, that's his best football he's played. Now, Tam would come in week 1 and produce. It's never happened. He's never come in week 1 and produced great numbers since the XFL back in 2020. He hasn't played great football. I'll be dead honest. Tamu hasn't played great. Now there's competition, I hope. Spencer Sanders they signed, who played for at OSU and at Ole Miss, and nothing NFL except for like some tryouts, okay? Some workouts. Mike DeLeo, another guy. Now, I don't think Teamu starts all 10 games. I don't think this DC team competes as they did back in 2023. There's too much talent around the board, and Teamu's just not good. Teamu has not played good football. And on the St. Louis side, I've mentioned this quarterback competition in St. Louis before. You know, Manny Wilkins, Chevon Cordeo, and Manny Wilkins. Manny Wilkins, of course, you know, played a lot of time last year. Started quite a few games. Max Duggan, of course, coming in. And Chevon is the draft pick. They bring back Jacob Sailors. Be all fancy about that. But they're bringing in Denzel Mims and Andy Isabella along with Frank Darby. Now, I've mentioned the fact that Frank Darby is, like, not really needed. Interesting. I'm being honest. I don't think he's, like, super needed when you go through everybody in this receiving room. But one thing that St. Louis always does is they always bring the same guys back. But the receiving room, they only brought 4 guys back. That's not tradition in St. Louis that we've seen over the past 2 seasons. Peta Tampanu is another guy they're bringing back, but like the biggest name is probably Nate Meters, especially after, you know, a few NFL stints and stuff like that. That might be probably the biggest name, but not a lot to really look forward to for who you can like jump out to you. Over in San Antonio now, wide receiver Greg Ward, Ty Fry Fogel, and wide receiver Juwan Green are all 3 names who you can keep an eye out for. Ty Fry Fogel was a Rutgers legend. I'm pretty sure he played alongside Bo Melton and stuff like that. That's a pretty big name. Matt Seibert, they're also bringing on, played over. I don't actually remember who he played over. But there's some pretty big one. They bring in Devontae Beckett back. And this Greedy Williams is probably the biggest name on defense they have. Greedy Williams, of course, played with the Browns, played collegiate ball at LSU, was a teammate of Joe Burrow and Patrick Queen. Of course, Bo Peep Keys as well, a guy they're bringing back. And, of course, the golden boy, Donald Delahaye, destroying. Look, excited to see the content he brings out this year, the UFL. And now, finally, in the XFL, we're going to talk about running back Day Hunter. Now, Day Hunter had a rushing touchdown last year and was looking very promising and very hopeful till he got injured. Still at the ripe young age of 23 at a Liberty. A Rookie of the Year nomination. There were only 3 Rookie of the Years last year. So now, Comeback of the Year nomination, Day Hunter. Looks like he could take charge. I could see a 1-2 punch with him and Kalen Ballage. And Kalen Ballage played back in San Antonio back in 2023 and looked really, really good. Now, they're bringing in Luke Lennon, quarterback. Lennon could have that Lindsey Scott role. I could see that. I could really, really see that. Damon Shihigasepe, Todd Simmons, and David Durden are 3 receivers that you can keep the eye out for. Luan Winningham, expect him gone. Expect Luan Winningham gone. Okay? I don't think he makes it past training camp. I'm being dead honest. Sal Cannella, they just brought back. Curtis Hodges, another tight end. And Seth Green is returning. That O-line, only 3 guys returning. Whoa, you know. Not a lot else to be excited for on that O-line. The defensive line, scarce. It looks very scarce at the defensive line. But they brought back Ajeen Harris and Delonte Hood. Jamar Summers is another guy they brought back. Joe Powell they brought back. Nico Bolden is probably the most like scary name, but Brady Breeze is the biggest name. Played at Oregon, played with the Lions. The USFL division, the Roughnecks, they had a quarterback, Davis Richards, just retired. And if you think Jalen McClendon is going to compete, you are out of your mind. That's the Jamar Smith role of the offense. There's no way in earth Jalen McClendon competes in Houston with Anthony Brown and Nolan Henderson. Not even that, Nolan Henderson looked really good towards the end of the season. And you're going to say he's going to compete. Crazy, right? Justin Hall they brought back. TJ Vasher is the biggest name because especially spent time in the XFL back in 2023. Didn't do a lot. And CJ Windham out of Middle Tennessee spent a couple of seasons over in the IFL. He was chopping it up, man. They were really doing something. On that defensive side, though, yeah, there's nobody other than Jack Corner, and that's it. That's really it. Memphis, I won't talk about their quarterback room. DeAndre Torrey is running back one of my eyes. Keep a name out for him. Kia Loxley at a UTEP is a wide receiver plus quarterback. So, beat out the suck quarterback room. And nothing else outside of Jonathan Adams and David Davis. You know, you shouldn't really... I'm done with the team. Okay, Birmingham. Birmingham, we're already like familiar with what they can do. Same running back room. Joseph Ngata is labeled as a tight end, though. Eagles wide receiver Joseph Ngata, who actually beat out Deion Kane for a roster spot back in 2022 or 2023 with the Philadelphia Eagles, is listed as a tight end. I was like, interesting. Davion Davis, of course, I just interviewed him. Check that out on Speak the Football if you want. Amari Rogers brought back blah 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 blah. I hate the Stallions, blah blah blah. Stallions suck. So I'm done with the Stallions. Now the Michigan Panthers is Brian. I don't know what to. John Hightower played with them last year, and they're bringing him back, and he's probably gonna get cut. He is that Lawan Winningham of this receiving room. Xavier Malone, cool. Kolikatini, cool. Nothing really like different. This is like my least favorite part. Okay, that's it for these USFL guys or UFL. I gotta get better with that. But that's it for these UFL guys. Around the board, like, there's nothing crazy. Memphis, I forgot to mention, Riverius Rivers, defensive back. Just spent 2 years over in the IFL, but nothing else is gonna make you just jump out of the building. Maybe that's me. Probably is me. But I don't see this as like a talented group outside of Birmingham. Birmingham bringing everybody back. Okay, they're bringing everybody back. Everybody's bringing, bro. At this point, just give them the floor, Pete. And I don't want to have to. I don't have to watch them win. I'm being dead honest. I don't want to have the Stallions win again. It's annoying. Now do it for this episode. Probably get some NFL content out there because, bro, I don't care. Okay, the UFL doesn't have enough going around, bro. The NFL is so much cooler, bro. Nah, I'm kidding. That'll do it for this episode. A little extra something, a little more planned, but something's getting in the way. But hey, this Will Ardent news is like pretty crazy though. That he's coming over to San Antonio. I forgot to mention that he's gonna compete with Nate Hayden, Chris Barrett. His name was blanking on me for a second. Chris Barrett and Jeremy Hunt come in the 15th of, or come May time. I think it's the 15th. Come training camp time. Not a lot of other news going around. Nothing else. As other than of course Alabama Beavers training camp, and who knows, they might make some impact. I don't know. But that'll do it. We'll wrap it up. IFA Newsroom. Thanks for listening. You listened all the way through this. Thank you. Thank you a lot. If you didn't, still thank you. Thank you for tuning in at least. But hey, that'll do it. Episode whatever. I lost track of episode, but thank you for everybody who listened and tuned in. Thank you a lot.